nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death. Good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Oh,
Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Miguel.
I feel like I need a redo. What was that? First of all, the snort. Second of all, you just said that, not me, which is very. I feel like I feel out of place and dirty and
Bro,
strange.
it's the season finale. You gotta change the shit up.
I'm Brad. Oh, welcome to the season 1 finale of Purely and Simply Evil. We just got off on the way wrong foot. I don't even know what. I feel odd. I feel strange in my body.
I threw him off his game, man.
You did.
We can't trash this movie too much, man, because we know what we about to do, fellas.
Well, okay. So today we're talking Halloween Resurrection in our 10th episode, our season 1 finale, and our commentary is out now. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, it's on all the other podcast platforms. And in our commentary, I tore Resurrection apart, and I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that Resurrection is. I'm not going to save it for a ranking. It's my least favorite movie in the franchise. Now, I promised I was having a buddy with I was having a conversation with our buddy.
Having a buddy to talk with.
I was having a buddy, and I was having a conversation with our buddy Art in one of the comments, and shout out to you, Art. Oct. I mean, Oct. I'm getting people. I don't know. I'm
sorry, Art.
See, Miguel threw me off. I'm all jacked up now. I was having a conversation with our buddy Oct, who is in the chat right now. He says, "Woot," and he said he had never disagreed with me on anything more about the Halloween franchise, at least. And I promise you right now, I'm making a promise. I'm going to say some positive things about Resurrection too. I will. I'm right here, right now. I'm going to say some positives as well. Now, I'm still going to talk about why I think the movie is crap, but I think there are good things in there. Just like anything. I mean, even look at I know even if you look at Friday the 13th, people think that Jason Takes Manhattan is one of the worst of the franchise. I actually think Jason Takes Manhattan is arguably in my top 3 favorite Friday the 13th movies. Not because it's a good plot. It's a garbage movie. Like, I'll admit, it's terrible. Like, the plot is stupid. Like, how we end up from Crystal Lake in New Jersey, like in a lake, a landlocked lake, and then we somehow get on a boat and magically we're in the Atlantic Ocean heading to Manhattan. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But there's something just super 80s and super... It's just super... It's one of the most 80s feeling Friday the 13th films, or one of the most 80s feeling horror films that are out there right now. You know what I mean? And like the scene where he's standing in Times Square and like we get the pan around of Jason with like the old Coke logos and all of the retro, the signs and the neon. It's just, it looks retro. It looks 80s. I love it. There's something about it I like.
It's like Coming to America, but for serial killer vibes.
Yeah. God, I can't wait till we get to that episode. We're going to do the Friday the 13th at some point, and that's going to be a fun one. That'll be a blast. Yeah, I am going to find some positive things to say about Resurrection. So don't bear with us here. Bear with us because it's going to happen. Miguel, happy season 1 finale, dude.
Happy season 1 finale, man.
I feel like it's taken us forever. This season's been going on since mid-October.
Yeah, it's about like, I'd say it's about like 4 months, right? 6 months? Right?
Yeah, 6 months.
About.
So if you want to binge, we have a playlist of all of our episodes. We did the first episode was the watch along of Halloween 78 and Halloween 2018 prior to Halloween Kills coming out. Second episode was Halloween 2. Third episode was It was a fan recommendation. It was
Event Horizon, my guy.
Event Horizon. I kept wanting to say Deep Impact, but it wasn't. Event Horizon with Sam Neill. And then we did 4 and 5. We did Halloween 6. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was in there. Prior to that new film coming out, or just after that new film came out. So season 1 was pretty cool. We tackled all the Halloweens. We're gonna save the producer's cut of Halloween 6. We'll revisit Rob Zombie's films at some point because we've already done commentaries for them. One of our earlier episodes, I think it was in the first might have been in the first 10 or 15 episodes we did of the main show. We talked Rob Zombie's Halloweens and kind of like what we would change and things like that. Which that was another thing that Oct was disagreeing with me about, because in our commentary, I flat out said, I was like, look, we'll do our ranking after Halloween Ends comes out, because it's like, why would we rank it and then have another one come out just after that? But it's no secret, I think, that Resurrection and Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, are like everybody's bottom of the barrel. So
it's like dark horse of the family.
It is, but and typically people give the Dark Horse award to Rob Zombie's H2. I actually take Rob Zombie's H2 over Resurrection, and I know that might be blasphemy. People are probably going to unsub for that, but I have to be completely honest with you. I would take Rob Zombie's. I enjoy watching Rob Zombie's H2 more than I enjoy watching this film. But we'll get into it. So let's head on over to the chat. Joe Mama is in the chat. What's going on, Joe? He said, I really can't wait until the Busta Rhymes Kung Fu part happens. Greatest moment in the franchise after Ben Tramer's death. Dude, you got to go back and listen to our commentary of H2, like 81 H2, because when Ben Tramer died, Miguel went, holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Bro, yeah, Ben Tramer's death was so sudden, though. Yeah, look, here, how can I say this? If I had to choose which one was like the most impactful moment for me in the Halloween franchise, I would say Ben Tramer's death over everything in this fucking franchise. Ben Tramer's death was by far the most impactful, because it was so sudden and it was so like visceral and like nowhere. Sudden. And I said sudden twice, but because I was just so fucking surprised by it. And I was just lost for words, man. So if I had to say that I had my favorite character in Halloween, is Ben Tramer, because you feel bad for that man. He is the victim.
He's your favorite character?
Yeah,
bro. He's not even really a character. He's in it for like 2 minutes at the most.
But he's had the most badass death scene I have ever seen in the Halloween franchise.
Oh, I always think that's the funniest thing about that scene is, like, it's not even him getting hit and like the shock of like that just happened. But it's funny because like Loomis is already so done at that point, because like people are dying and Loomis can't find Michael.
Yeah.
And he's already like kind of in shock that he shot him, and he just like stood up and walked away. And Brackett's like, is it him? Is it him or not? And he's screaming, and Loomis just goes, oh. he just rubs his eyes like, I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
So it's hysterical, man. The Oct is also in the chat. He says, bring on the hate. I'm here to defend this masterpiece. And like you said, Miguel said, see, everybody knows it's bad. I'll listen, buddy. I'll defend it with you. I'll still watch it. I like some things about it. We'll see. 202 days till Halloween ends. 4,838 hours till Halloween ends. 265 minutes till Halloween ends. 17,416,000 seconds until Halloween ends. Oct is in here. He is the real MVP, giving us these countdowns for Halloween ends, man. By the way, if you have not left this,
you should do like a countdown right here on the bottom of like you or me until Halloween ends. If that's possible. Cool. Yeah, I know StreamYard has that option to do it.
I don't know if you can do that on here, but that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're watching right now, please be sure to leave this stream a like if you have not already. Up to 7 likes right now. Helps us out a whole lot.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. So first of all, let's talk some of the production things. I am going to give kind of my pluses and minuses, because I promise you I will. We're going to get there. And I also have an idea of kind of what I think would have made Resurrection a better movie overall. I think for me, part of the issue with the movie is that, first of all, the characters are meaningless to me. I could care less about almost every one of these characters in this film. And I'm sorry, but even the way Loree went out, it's just like, really? Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? It just feels it feels very cheap. And part of that is because of what happened with the production. So red flag number 1, Halloween Resurrection came out on July 12th, 2002. July 12th is when this movie was released. Not even like
it was trying to be a
kind
summer
of close to
blockbuster,
Halloween.
man.
It was trying to be a summer blockbuster, which I can appreciate that. I get it. Had a $15 million budget, made $37.6 million at the box office. So just barely exceeded its production budget. Not a whole ton. It didn't really do crazy. Directed by Rick Rosenthal, written by Larry Brand and Sean Hood. And it still blows my mind because like Rick Rosenthal directed Halloween 2, and Halloween 2 1981 is like one of my favorite sequels. I mean, I've probably watched Halloween 2 more than I've watched Halloween 1 in my lifetime because I love that movie. Like Halloween 2 is something that like if I'm working on podcast stuff or if I'm working on, you know, like something for work or if I'm like anything, if I'm working in the movie room, like Halloween 2 is one of those movies like, you know, you have those movies or shows that like you can just put it on and it's like you can just, you know it verbatim, you know what happens, like, you know, the dialogue, you know, everything about it. And it's like, I can just have it on in the background and enjoy it. Like Halloween 2 is one of those movies for me, but I can also watch it like seriously as a movie and enjoy the hell out of it too. So, I mean, it's kind of like either way, like you know.
See, that's funny because Beverly Hills Ninja is mine.
What the hell is Beverly Hills Ninja?
Guys, in the comments, if you guys know what
is.
Beverly Hills Ninja is, please give me a like because that is an underrated movie.
I don't know what that is. Never heard of that.
You know Chris Farley?
Okay, yeah, I know Chris Farley, but I don't know what Beverly Hills Ninja is.
He is a lost boy who gets found at a storm, and these ninjas find him and they raise him. But obviously,
they raise Chris Farley.
That
sounds pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, they raise Chris Farley to be a ninja, and obviously he's a bad ninja because you know he's Chris Farley. And all of a sudden, he meets someone, and she needs his help, his ninja skills. So he goes to Beverly Hills Ninja and does some ninja shit. That sounds fucking hilarious.
That's awesome. That actually does sound really funny. I wouldn't mind watching that. So this all started because if you think, if you know anything about the history of the Halloween franchise, so Mustafa Akkad has had, I don't know if it's still in existence, which is kind of a big question for Halloween Ends. There at least there used to be a legal clause that when somebody was writing a Halloween sequel, you could not kill off the character of Michael Myers. Like it was a rule that Mustafa Akkad had. You couldn't kill the character. That was it. You couldn't do it. So literally, they already had a plan, kind of behind the scenes, behind Jamie Lee Curtis's back, behind everybody's back. They had a plan to write Michael, or to write the ending of H2O with the whole paramedic switcheroo thing. They had that written, and they knew they were going to do that chunk of Resurrection before they even started filming H2O, or at least like during filming of H2O. And they already had planned that they were going to keep a little skeleton crew of people behind to film the paramedic switch scene. So this was kind of a shock to Jamie Lee Curtis. This was kind of a shock to a lot of people. After H2O released, they actually, they talked about doing a Michael Myers-less sequel, like a Halloween 3 type thing. And Mustafa Akkad actually posted a poll on HalloweenMovies.com asking people what they thought of a sequel with no Michael Myers in it. Like if they were to just keep Michael dead and move on with something else, kind of do the John Carpenter anthology thing. Maybe, I don't know if they were thinking about trying to get him back. Probably not, because I think him and Akkad had history there. But like, what? Like they posted a poll, and I think people were like, no, like we don't want a movie without Michael. So fast forward to August 7th of 99. Prior to there ever being a treatment or a script or thoughts on a director or actors or a storyline, Halloween H2K Evil Never Dies, which was an obvious play on the whole Y2K scare of 2000, was announced. And there were a few other scripts, there were a few other stories. Nothing really made it very far at all. I don't know. Halloween Y2K sounds strange. Like I feel like that'd be like it'd be like Skynet taking over and Michael's like a robot or something like that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, back then, like
They wouldn't have done that
in like the year 1999, like everyone was scared of Y2K because of the ridiculously naive sense that people had for technology.
Yeah.
And everyone all of a sudden thinking that, oh shit, what do we do after 99? Like, it's like, what's going to happen? Like, are the computers going to shut down? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, no, computers are computers. They're smart. They can understand.
Well, and like
we understand how numbers go.
At the time, we were too young to like, for that to like even like sink in or to understand what was happening. But like, apparently that was a real thing. People were like legitimately like stockpiling food and thought it was going to be like a Skynet thing. Like, you know, like computers were just
people just thought that like, you know, computers were going to shut down. They weren't going to work because they were confused in regards to the year. They didn't know what computers didn't know what 00 meant or whatever, blah, 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 blah. They thought the stock market was going to go to shit. And it's like,
I think it was like a nuclear thing too. Like they thought nuclear codes would like, you know, whatever, and nukes were popping off. Like it was just like, I think they thought it was going to be like an apocalyptic thing. So that was kind of a play on that whole fear that was already kind of in society at the time.
What? So what's the movie going to be? Is it going to be about Michael Myers just being a computer virus? Is he the reason Y2K happened?
Michael Myers becomes Ultron.
Yeah, is this Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase, but with Michael Myers? You know what I mean? Like,
Jamie Lee Curtis is sitting there typing at a computer, and she's like,
yeah.
But speaking of Jamie Lee Curtis, she was over it. She wanted to end it. She thought H2O should have been the end. She felt that Laurie Strode had her revenge. She killed Michael. That was that. Kaput. Done. But she only returned to Resurrection under two conditions. They had to keep the plot twist ending of H2O a secret until they actually announced Resurrection. And two, Laurie had to be killed off. She was done. She was like, this is, I mean, and if you look at her performance, I said this in our commentary too. I mean, she looks like she's like, okay, hand me my check. Like she doesn't, she doesn't have the same kind of passion, and she doesn't, it looks like she just cashed it in. And that's nothing. I don't say that as any kind of disrespect to Jamie Lee Curtis. I think I would have been the same way. You know what I mean? You put effort and you put thought and stuff into this story like they did. And then suddenly it's like, no says I, never mind. It's like the Newman. I forget the actor's name in Jurassic Park. I say Newman like Seinfeld, but the guy who plays Newman, when he's like, you didn't say the magic word. It's Samuel L. Jackson. Damn this stupid magic crap. So I don't know. It just, I think it's the whole paramedic thing is just kind of like, what? Daniel Farris.
That was like, I had a thought about that because in my head I was thinking, I was like, so when this movie came out in production and it was like rolling out like H2O, there was that clause saying Michael Myers could not die. So were they only allowed to let that movie go out if they knew that there was going to be another sequel and there was going to be that body switch scene?
Well, I think that's why they already had plans of it. I think that's why the plans were already in motion before they even finished filming H2O. Like they already knew they were going to do the paramedic thing, even if it was kind of a secret because they were trying to keep it a secret. Like they already knew that was going to happen. So it's kind of like, well,
I wonder who who was in the know. Like obviously Mustafa Akkad was in it, and maybe I'm sure the director was in it, but like anybody else that was like not in the initial cast, like Laurie's probably like over here celebrating the shit, like, cheers guys, last movie we killed Michael Myers, and Mustafa Akkad is probably like,
He did. The crew members got just a few crew members got an email, and they were like, "Hey, we need to see you in wherever, like on set or whatever." And they show up, and it's funny. Everybody's just sitting in a room silent, and Akkad's like this. So you're wondering why we've all called you here today. So I don't know. So Daniel Farrens, who wrote the script for Halloween 6, he actually pitched a script called Halloween 8, Lord of the Dead, as Loomis would say, which would have made Loree the villain. The evil infects her. No. I don't know if they would have done it like that, or if she would have just kind of went crazy
like Jamie.
with the trauma and the PTSD. Yeah, but Jamie never really became the villain, though.
Yeah,
that was just kind of a plot twist at the end of 4 when Loomis, no, and he's about to straight up shoot an 8-year-old girl in the face.
That one was probably like the best twist I've seen in a movie.
That was a good twist.
That's probably the best twist out of the entire franchise in my eyes.
Sitting in a movie theater in 84, 85. I'm sure that would have been like, oh.
Yeah, that was such a big twist. I'm pretty sure parents were looking at their child like, I don't know about you.
Yeah,
daughter's like, Mom, can I take a bubble bath? And she's like, nah, bitch, you make your own water. Get your own suds.
If Meeker wouldn't have pushed Loomis against the wall, Loomis would have
dead ass headshot.
He would have
like
shot her.
100-point headshot right there. I heard dome. Because Loomis is a good shot. I think Loomis is a good shot. Bro,
when he shot him in the original, when he ran up the stairs, when Michael was chasing or choking Loree, it was all body shots. He was only like 10 feet away. It hit.
You gotta understand, he ran up the stairs.
He could have aimed.
Bro, this is an 87-year-old man running up the stairs, automatically thrusting his gun.
Bro, try like 45.
Bro, I'm just saying. You know how tired you can be when you run up the stairs, bro. I'm 25 and I get tired running up the stairs. Imagine a 45-year-old.
Well, and he was already running down the street because remember Tommy and Lindsay came out and he already he already knew. He was like, oh, he's in there, so he was already cocking and like running up to the house.
Yeah, so he's tired. He's tired. That revolver's swaying left and right, and if he's able to get 6 body shots, that's pretty good for a 45-year-old man who is that tired. So you gotta admit, you think Loomis going up the stairs seeing a little girl automatically thinking he killed his mother? Loomis was just walking up the stairs. His aim sight was so fucking small that he could easily get a headshot. Yeah. And the first one, his aimbot was like this big because he was so fucking tired, but still got body shots. He's a good shot.
And he did have a pretty tiny revolver too. Like Malcolm McDowell and Rob Zombie's Halloween, bro. When he goes to the gun store, he's like, he looked at the guy and he's like, the guy's like, what are we hunting? And he's having a conversation with Loomis, and Loomis is like, I don't know, that one or whatever. And he picks out the gun, and he says, depending on what you're hunting, he was like, if you want to hurt it, you can use this one. And then he grabs that big, like Rick Grimes revolver, and he's like, but if you want to blow its head off. And bro, he shoots Michael 3 times. And like when he shoot, like when they're standing at the pool and Loomis is trying to get him to stop walking, Loomis shoots it when he's like, Michael, and he's shooting at him or whatever. Michael does go like, oh, like it looks like it hurts. I don't know if that revolver would still do damage though.
Huh?
Loomis, the original Loomis revolver would still do damage though. It's still a revolver.
Yeah, it's a gun, nevertheless. Yeah,
it is a gun.
Fuck, it's a gun, dude.
Bro, could you imagine if Loomis walked up to the balcony at the end of the original Halloween and like he sees him gone, but instead of being like and like going after him again, he was just like, I didn't see nothing. And he just walks away. He just leaves. He's like, I didn't see nothing. He's gone. He just leaves, gets in the car and leaves. But I don't know. We got off topic.
Yeah, we did.
We got there from talking about Loree being the villain. So they had pitched Lord of the Dead. That was like, nope. I mean, and at this point, it's trying to make a sculpture out of mud. I mean, like, it's not going to happen because the story's it's dead at this point. And
you say that, and then all of a sudden, 20 years later, there's an artist that makes a sculpture out of mud. It's like, fuck you, Brad.
And you know, it was a respected franchise again. Like, I think it kind of went downhill. Like we already talked about, like after 6, they were going to do a straight to home video release because 6 didn't really do all that well. I mean, like 4 was a big deal 1 and 2 were a big deal. 3 was like, 4 was a huge deal. 5 was like, what? And then 6, everybody was like, okay, this is over. So H2O was like, oh crap! It's like it's resurrected. It's back. Halloween's back. And then they decided to throw Halloween or Michael Myers and Busta Rhymes in a room together because somebody actually thought that was a great idea. Another red flag. Original titles included Halloween Homecoming, taking a page out of Spider-Man's book, Halloween H2K, Evil Never Dies, and my personal favorite, Halloween MichaelMyers.com.
Was that the YQ2K one?
No, but that was just another, like, we got to throw technology in there. MichaelMyers.com. It's going to be the internet, and I'm sure that was a nod to the whole Decker thing. And it's funny because the trailer for Halloween Resurrection was actually attached to one of my other least favorite sequels on the planet, Jason X. When Jason X came out, which listen, I would rather you strap me to a chair and watch Resurrection for 24 hours than watch Jason X. The last time I tried to watch Jason X, I had just moved into my house and I got a 6-pack and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch a movie tonight. And I drank a couple beers and I fell asleep about a half hour into Jason X. And I woke up at like 2 a.m. on my couch asleep and it was on the menu. It was on them, like the movie had been over. Like I don't enjoy Jason X at all, like zero. Halloween Resurrections at least got some meat to it, but Jason X is just it's
straight bone, I guess. If it has
terrible.
No meat
It's
to
awful.
it, yeah.
And it's funny because even Halloween Resurrection, like I pulled this is a quote from a critic review from the New York Post. Lou Laminick, sorry if I said that wrong. It's so devoid of joy and energy, it makes Jason X look positively Shakespearean by comparison. I wouldn't go that far. I think that's too far.
That's good.
I'm going to stand with you this time, buddy. I think that's way too far. I would not say that Resurrection is that bad.
You have to love the word choice that these critics use, though.
I know,
they're
right?
fucking great.
Positively Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Like what? Like who says that? Nobody says that. So let's talk about the movie itself a little bit. What did you think of the whole opening with Loree? How Loree's original send-off in this franchise?
Are you asking me what I thought of it?
What did you think of it?
I mean, I thought it was a little bit of a waste, if I'm going to be completely honest.
It was a complete waste. It was like the Grand Theft Auto wasted. It was like completely the most wasted character death ever.
Yeah.
Because
her son completely written off.
Oh,
it does not exist in this movie.
100%.
Yeah. And like there was no news or no news coverage on what just happened. Like, headmaster at California State School just decapitated ambulance dude. Like, bro, what?
Well, they did mention it though. Like in the hospital, they mentioned at the beginning when the two nurses they go to give her her pill or whatever, and they go to give her her pill, and they're like, Laurie Strode, and they're talking or whatever, and they're like, yeah, she she killed the wrong person, and they're having that conversation. But yeah, that's another thing that I don't like. They completely wrote Josh Hartnett out. And I mean, I'm not saying Josh Hartnett's character was like gold in H2O, but I mean, like, they completely
serve the story,
wrote him out.
Yeah.
Honestly, except for that reference, there's really no nod to H2O at all.
No,
zero. I think the opening is pretty. It's shot okay. I mean, it's a cool. It's kind of a cool scene. It's the best part of the movie. I think the first 10-15 minutes is the best part of Resurrection. That and the ending, the beginning and the end, everything in the middle is just kind of like lukewarm potato soup. Like it's just not good. like non-seasoned potato soup.
You said the end was good, bro. That shit was trash.
But it's kind of fun. It gets entertaining, that final
showdown.
Yeah, that final showdown between what's her name, Sarah, and Busta Rhymes' character, Freddie, and Michael. Like that's that's the kind of thing. Like I can say that is entertaining. Like I can get behind that. I do like that the opening, like when we're introduced to Loree, she's obviously smart. She knows he's coming. She's waiting all this time, and like we learn about the whole paramedic thing. We see that happening. We see Michael just kind of walking around. It's weird to think of him just like switching clothes and just being like, and just walking off into the woods. You know what I mean? That's kind of strange.
It's like how did he get the mask too, like, and all that stuff? Like, how did he get the mask back? How did he get the
I don't know. Well, it's a
overalls
different
back?
mask, but I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Whatever.
Again, to my question, why the fuck would you keep bringing out masks like that? That's I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I do like that Loree is ready. She's waiting. Like she has a plan. She's acting, she's got the whole Michael thing where she's kind of just like she's just comatose. They think she doesn't speak. Like she even opens her mouth to
kill
put
Michael. You must pretend to be like Michael. You must be Michael.
Become the animal.
Become the animal. Yes.
Like she kind of acts like the she's got the comatose thing going on. She doesn't speak. Like she even has to open her mouth to put the pill in, and then as soon as the nurses leave. Well, it's funny because she stuffs all the pill. Like you see, she's got all the pills stuffed in the as you called it, the Annabelle doll.
Yeah. It is the Annabelle doll.
And then she puts the flat back, and she's like. She's sitting there like petting it, like
bro. You gotta think every mental institution probably like after that movie, they probably took every single stuffed animal away from their patients because they're like, we don't trust it.
They saw that movie. All doctors went.
There's something here.
I gotta
guys. Go. Corporate meeting now.
But where are you going? I gotta go. Just don't ask me questions. I gotta go. I'm glad the Ock brought it up, even though it was kind of corny. I like the character of the patient obsessed with serial killers that Michael handed the knife to. Yes, that was another really cool thing. Is the guy, I forget exactly what his name was, the guy who there's a patient there, and apparently he frequently escapes, so that's fine because the security guards outside. He's walking the perimeter,
yeah, you're
and he
right.
just walks in, and he's like, "Whoa, what are you?"
Pretty good.
He's like, "What are you doing out here, man?" And he's like, "I'm so and so murdered 6 people, 1940." It's like, and the guy's like, "You need to get back inside." I'm like, "Bro, it's just easy for him to walk out, is it? Like he can just get out of his room that simply? Like, come on." And I mean, he's not violent. He doesn't look, he seems like an okay guy.
He embodies.
Yes, but he himself doesn't seem like a serial killer, though.
I think it's more of an
killer. Whatever. He's kind of funny because like he's always saying some dumb crap, like they're trying to have a conversation with him or something, and the guy's like, you can't be doing this, you can't, and he's just like, used a knife to sever the thing, and he's just kind of like spitting off weird stuff.
Bro, I would have haymakered his jaw right there.
The security guard, as soon as you turn around and see him.
Yeah, because he's fucking weird. But yeah, that scene alone was pretty good too. I like that scene.
He was pretty cool, and I like the scene when he finds him out there, because obviously you're thinking it's Michael, and that's when Loree looks out the window and sees Michael standing there in the bushes, and she's like, "Okay, it's time. Let's do this."
She said, "Hit that bell, doll, ding! We going another round, bitch."
She looks out the window and goes.
And Michael's like, "I didn't hear no bell."
Well, we get the scenes. There's one thing I don't like about the opening, and it's when Michael gets to the when he gets to her door after she is like put the pillows, and she makes it look like she's laying in bed with the doll, but she's not. And before she hits him with the lamp, when Michael like walks up to her door. They could have done it as a camera effect where the camera is shaking to kind of symbolize like he's breaking the door down. But instead, they literally just took the frame like in post-production and was like, ho, ho, ho. And it's like really terrible sound effects to where it's just like, I mean, it looks really dumb. Like what I just did with my computer looks better than what it was in the movie. And it's like the cheapest set, like before the door opens or whatever. It sounds really bad. But I like when she hits him and starts running.
Bro, Michael's arch nemesis isn't Laurie Strode. It's blunt objects.
It's
Swear to
blunt
God.
force trauma.
Yeah. My man's been hit so hard recently.
And he's fallen off of balconies. So
Yeah, like Jesus, dude.
but she runs up to the roof, and it is kind of cool. Like I like it when he walks out on the roof and he's kind of standing like her hospital gown is thrown over the balcony. So then he's like, he even kind of walks up and he goes, like, "Whoa, really? Like, is she playing? Is she real?"
You notice
is
though,
she-
there was I feel like the nurses mentioned that she does get on the roof sometimes.
yeah.
And I like that they
What is
mentioned
this
that
mental
because
hospital?
yeah, I was like, they got free reign of this bitch.
Like you let the patients just wander out on the roof?
I guess so because I well, nonetheless, I like the fact that they mentioned it, so it made sense to why
Right. That was good.
Loree
I
had
agree
that
with that.
booby trap set for Michael.
Right. And I like when he's standing there kind of confused and she kicks the door and slams it behind him and she's got the remote and the rope and she says, "Hello, Michael." And like that's kind of a cool scene. And then she hits
That's
it.
like the Karen scene where like she was like, "Gotcha," and the
Yeah.
light just flash. Yeah.
Yeah. And like dude, that's a cool scene in 18 when he rounds the corner and she's sitting there. She's like, "Mom, I can't do it." And he rounds the corner and she goes, "Gotcha." And she's standing there with the rifle and that's when she shoots him. That's pretty cool.
And then Loree comes out and is like, "Happy Halloween, Michael." Like, bro,
Yeah,
what the
then-
fuck? This place
I
is
know,
filled
it's
with
like-
cheesy lines.
I know. Then we had to ruin it with that line. But that is kind of a cool scene. And it's like, and bro, when he acts like that rope like jerked him, he could have easily just went like
Oh,
and lifted his leg out of that rope. But instead he like looked at it until it wrapped around his ankle and he was like he acted like it ripped it out from under him and it was just like slowly pulling him up and he went on the pavement and like she lifts him up upside down. I did think it was kind of cool when he started doing that stuff like
oh my
try
God, you
like
froze for a second.
well it shows that he is smart. Like he knew that he could get in her head because of the paramedic thing. And
Oh,
that's when she
yeah.
says, like, "I have to be sure." And she walks up and I don't like when she's like, "Are you afraid to die, Michael? I'm not afraid of you. Are you afraid of me?" And it's
Bro,
just,
I
I'm kind of
fucking
like,
hate it how like you're so close to like finishing off your arch nemesis.
I know, right?
And you decided to do a fucking monologue.
That always
That's for
irritates
villains.
me too. Yeah,
That's for
that always
villains, dog.
irritates me too.
Yeah, like,
Like,
I don't like it
It's
doesn't
like
make sense.
you're literally holding the knife. Obliterate him, like
Yeah.
while he's upside down.
And,
like, you don't need
what
to
do you
give
have
him
to
a
lose?
monologue.
What do you have to lose with making the wrong mistake again? Nothing.
Yeah, you're already
You got nothing.
in a
You're already
mental
there.
institution, so it's like
If you fucked up again, guess what? Just walk back to your room. That's it. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
else to tell you.
then she could sit and say, "I don't know what happened, but how'd your door
Yeah.
break?" I was in bed asleep. You drugged me, remember?
It was a serial killer guy. It was old boy that couldn't talk about serial killers. It was that
Yeah.
guy.
I don't know, but she's got to talk him to death apparently when he's hanging there upside down, and he does his whole "I love you." He does this whole thing, and he grabs her. I always thought it was strange after he grabs her and they fall off the roof. First of all, my man's got unreal strength because we even forgot to mention this. The two security guards, when he kills the security guards, the guy who's sitting he's like, "I didn't eat my dinner." And he's like, "Well, hurry up." He's at the vending machine. He does his whole, "I'm just going to lower myself down
yeah.
from the from the ceiling again." He does that
I
whole thing.
love how they added that in this movie because it's like, yes, that was a good scene. It's a pretty cool scene. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
He looks like an
it's
alien from like the Ridley Scott movies.
yeah.
You know
Well,
how
it's
they
cool.
like go over the shaft and they get behind them? Like, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's actually a pretty cool scene and a pretty suspenseful kind of like, whoa, cool, like horror scene because like the security guards walked out, like the guys at the vending machine. He hears the scream and he walks in and the room is empty. Like there's nobody there. And he opens the washing machine. The dude's head is inside of it. And when he gets scared and backs up, he bumps into Michael. And then when he turns around, that's when, he kills him, whatever. But my man's got some, he must hit the gym constantly because even when Michael and Loree fall off the roof, he just goes He's just like one arm and it just hanging there. He's got her stabbed with the knife, and he's just like holding them both up with one arm. Like, yep.
He's not even breathing heavy either. That's what gets me. My man's been lifting boulders in the cave before
Yeah,
the
right?
sequel.
Like he's just been sitting there just hanging out. But it's weird because she's stabbed. It's like it's the shock that he just actually killed her. But it's funny because I always thought it was strange. Like he's still her brother in this timeline.
Mm-hmm.
He's her brother, and she kisses him on the lips of the mask, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she's like, "I'll see you in hell," and that's when he like sticks that pulls the knife from her, so she like falls or whatever. But I always thought it was strange that he kissed her. I'm like, why'd you kiss him?
That was a little weird.
You try to talk him to death with your words, and then you're gonna kiss him on the mouth when
kiss your
brother on the mouth.
That was Jamie Lee Curtis's like final to the franchise. Yeah, it was a final FU to the franchise. Like, this is what you get.
No.
This is the performance you get for lying to me in the last movie.
Michael was going to savor it a little bit. He was going to keep her like sitting there dangling on the knife. And as soon as she kissed him, he was like, nope.
He says, killing people, I'm okay with that. But incest, I draw a line.
we don't do that here.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
funny
glad that's a universal no, even with serial killers.
Well, he doesn't even get his other arm up to pull himself up. He just goes and pulls himself back up on the roof. It's like,
bro,
what?
My man's lats. He got fucking wings under those coveralls, dog.
Could you imagine? It's like when he gets like back to the Myers house or whatever, and he takes his coveralls off. He's just like
fucking like Chris Bumstead in this bitch. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Like the whole strongman thing. But so that's when he goes and he hands the knife to, you almost think he's going to kill him for a second. And he just turns and hands it to the guy. And it's funny because the guy's got the clown mask on and he's like, oh, Michael Myers.
Yeah,
whatever killed his older sister October 31st, 1960. And he's going through the whole thing and he's just sitting there talking. His monologue is kind of cool though. Like when Michael's walking down the long corridor and he's just getting like smaller and smaller walking, and when he's like, whatever Hillcrest Academy 1998. And now he's back. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. And that's when the theme kicks in. That's kind of cool. I will say I dig that. Like that was a really cool moment.
And then it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, it is downhill. But that brings me to my first thing. Oct, we're here. This brings me to my first thing that I like about Halloween Resurrection. The theme and a lot of the music, I think it's better than the theme in Halloween H2O. I think it's one of the better themes of the franchise. It's got more of a It feels more synthy, kind of like the original did. It's got the choir. It's got the like choir thing going on in the background, but it feels piano. It feels synthy. It feels a little bit more John Carpenter than like they went full blown orchestra in H2O, and it felt a little 90s ish, like it felt kind of like it's a little too much. So the theme was one of the things that was better. Another thing that I actually really like about H2 or about Resurrection, I think Michael is better than he is in H2O. Actually, I think he's a lot better in Resurrection than he is in H2O. First of all, the Brad Loree who played him in Resurrection, I think he moved a little bit more like in the original how he moved. You know what I mean? He didn't move quite as quite as quickly and strange, like at that point when he's chasing Josh Hartnett and Molly in H2O, like Josh hits him with John hits him with the rock, and when he sits up, he's just like, ugh, and he goes and he moves very.
He's not like adrenaline running right there.
Yeah,
adrenaline driven.
He's kind of spazzy, and I like that it was a little bit more liquid. He just kind of walks around. He's never in a hurry. He's got kind of more of a brooding thing to him, Michael is a lot better. The other thing is the eyes. You don't have.
That's true.
You don't have eye holes that are like 8 inches wide on the mask this time, which looks good. A lot of the cinematography and the way it's shot, like there are some cool shots of Michael in this movie, especially in his house where you get like the blue moonlight lighting. Again,
yeah.
Similar to the original, and you see him kind of walking in and out of light. Like that's cool. There's a lot of there are good things. Like Michael is done really well in this movie, especially it's the later shots when we see him in his house. There's some cool shots of him. I'll say that. So, let's see, those some positives right there.
There you go.
And we haven't been overly negative yet.
No,
I think I've done a pretty good job. We haven't been overly negative.
It's just until we start talking about like the rest of the plot.
I know, it's the last 70% of the movie. We're not there yet. The Oct says, yes, the score of Resurrection is banging. I used it in the Michael Myers fan film I made. Dude, you made a Michael Myers fan film?
Bro, like,
dude, we gotta watch that. We definitely gotta do that. We want to do that too with this show. Like we were talking the other night about some of the stuff we can do for like future seasons of Purely and Simply Evil, like, and doing some of the fan films. It'd be fun to just do a season and just do fan films of some of this stuff, because they're, good Lord, we could do 10 seasons of fan films for all these horror franchises. Like and there's some good ones. Like I'm not talking like go film in your backyard. Like there's some good fan films out there. Indy Fano, what's going on, man? He says, hey boys, I haven't seen this one in some time, but I will admit to not hating it as much when I watched it years ago after seeing it theatrically. The Mask and Michael are definitely better than H2O. I did watch H2O again recently, and it's one of my least favorite in the series. See, I don't know, man. There's something I like about H2O. Like, I mean, it's not it's not perfect. It's got issues. Like I will be the first to admit H2O has its issues. And it's one of my favorite movies, but it's my least favorite Michael. I can't stand Michael in H2O. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem, he doesn't look scary. He doesn't look anything like he did, you know, in some of the original sequels. Like the eyes aren't blacked out. At least in this one, the eyes aren't like 100% blacked out. Like, let me get the thumbnail pulled up. Like the thumbnail, like you can still kind of see it like in the light from the fire, but at least it's not like, I mean, he's not just going like,
bro, I don't know why, but these guys right here are so distinctive.
You know, what?
I don't know what that's called. I don't know what that's called. From the nose down to his like cheeks, those are so distinctive too. It looks like he's smelling something really. It's like he smells something bad.
He's smelling himself, bro. He hasn't showered in 20 years.
Bro, you don't know that. Maybe that's why he got a new fucking coveralls, because he probably just washed it. I don't know. Bro, he's probably smelling Loree's acting skills in this one.
No, it's not her acting skills. He's smelling Busta Rhymes. That's what it is. Yeah, he does look like he's smelling like a really terrible fart right now.
Yeah, right.
Let me go back. Indie Phantom, those damn eye holes. I'm watching Psycho 3 again right now. That's a full giallo slasher, and I love the speedy pace and sleaze. I've actually never seen the third Psycho. I've only seen 1 and 2, so we'll have to do those at some point. My wife loves Psycho. That's her. Well, my wife is kind of tied between The Shining and Psycho, I think, for her favorite movie, or horror film. But she actually really liked. She likes the Hitchcock stuff a lot. Rear Window's in there too. Man, there's so many movies we got to watch, Miguel. I'm so hyped. This is going to be cool. We've been doing this for 6 months with this show, and I'm still excited about it, which is a good sign. What was I about to say? She really enjoyed Halloween 2018, too. Like, a lot, actually. She asked to watch it every Halloween. Indie Phantom also says, I think Resurrection suffers mostly from the internet angle, but you make me want to see it again. Yeah, I don't know. That's not the part that bothers me. It's more the characters and the just writing off of Loree that just kind of like, it just feels like, what are you doing? Here's the link to my 11-minute fan film.
Thank you.
Where, buddy? Where's the link? I'm not seeing it. Yeah, throw it in there again, Oct. I'm trying to... Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm scrolling, but I don't see it. So yeah, just throw it in there again, man. And we'll look at your channel too. We'll find it at some point. So this is when we're introduced to the college students. We're introduced to Sarah. We're introduced to I forget their names. I know her name is Sarah, but her friend, which is who Katie Sackhoff plays, Jen. Yeah, Jen. Katie Sackhoff was a pretty popular actor right then. You know what I mean? Like for the 90s, she was a pretty happening actor at the time. And you had kind of some of the other characters and stuff. You had Bianca Colic in there too. Playing Sarah. Just kind of like actors that were around then, you know, not even to mention Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks, you know, which I don't know, man. Was Busta Rhymes like that hot of an actor of a rapper in the 90s?
Yeah, he was about as popping as LL Cool J.
Was that like, I mean, is that why you think they wanted to throw LL Cool J and Busta Rhymes in there?
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much why.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really I like some rap, but like I don't really know any of Busta Rhymes' song other than that song that he's. That video of him sitting there when he's going, and he's like doing the whole. I forget
Look at
what
me
it's called.
now.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but I could not.
Every time I got to say that, I got to
couldn't
go
tell
with
you
it. Yeah, I can't do it either. You used to be
Yeah.
top. If you could do it, you were top shit. You're
I
getting
know,
all
right?
the girls in fucking middle school. If you could,
I remember
if you could
people
rap
doing it in
that.
middle school. It was like a chat, like when Vine was a thing, like early. We were around when Vine had like just come out, like what it was almost a decade ago now. But
Yeah.
I remember in middle and high school, man, when Vine had just come out, that was a thing. It was like it's like a TikTok challenge. Like TikTok is the new thing now. Like when Vine was the thing, they were, like that was a challenge. If you could rap it like, so that was kind of cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
Psycho 3 is basically up the baits crazy, slice the runtime and make the kills more graphic. I think you guys will be big fans. Yeah, man, we'll have to watch it. We'll have to check out I like the original Psycho. I don't like it as much as my wife does. I appreciate it for what it is. I mean, it's a different, it was a different time. It was a much different thing. I'm sure you guys have seen X. I'm back in friggin' lockdown, so I didn't get to see the Batman either. I haven't seen X. I actually would like to. I've heard interesting things. But we did see the Batman, and the Batman is extraordinary. It's really, really good. We were both really big fans of the Batman. I don't hate on the Busta Rhymes, but I actually like when characters try to pick fights with the slashers. Yeah, that's kind of cool too. Holy crap, I totally forgot about Vine. Yeah. Part of J-Dead's in the house, man. He says, "Yo, what I miss besides everything?" So we've talked about the opening of the movie. We've talked about the production. Oct is a little mad at me right now because I'm tearing. I tore Resurrection apart, and I'm doing better right now. And I purposely am trying to find things that I like about Resurrection. But J-Dead, tell us what you think, because we've been kind of talking about it in the chat and on the show. Would you pick? You can only let one exist. And this is kind of a question for everybody, whether you're listening after the fact, whether you're listening right now with us live. 53 minutes in, be sure to leave this episode a like if you haven't already. If you had to erase Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or Halloween Resurrection from existence, which one would you erase?
Jesus.
I would erase Resurrection.
Okay.
I hate it, but I would. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to erase either one of them because they're a part of the franchise. But I would have to pick Rob. And I know I am perfectly acceptable being in the minority on that one. I'll accept that. I get it. Because I don't think Halloween 2 is a great movie. I'm not saying that H2 is like my favorite. It's not. It's definitely at the bottom. And his first movie was way better. But there's just something about it feels more in line with what came before it. You know what I mean? So I can take that. So this is when we're introduced to all the characters at the college, and we're kind of introduced to the competition with Dangertainment on an internet reality show, because of course we have to throw that internet in there. We got to get very internet age. It was kind of the beginning of when internet was starting to really take over, and cell phones were getting hot. And it was that late 90s, early 2000s, like the walkie-talkie phones had just become the thing and all that stuff. You know what, dude, you remember the walkie-talkie phones from when we were a kid?
No.
You don't remember walkie-talkie? Dude, there was a point in time my entire family had the walkie-talkie. Like, you didn't have to like dial somebody. You would just pick up your phone and be like you just pick a name and walkie-talkie somebody on your phone. Like,
oh yeah, I do kind of remember that.
Yeah,
bullshit.
like we had we lived in Florida at the time, and like we had family, like we were in South Florida, but we had like really south, like Miami. We were up north, and like we would walkie-talkie them back and forth. Like it was just like a weird technological advancement time, which is funny because if you look at where technology is now, like it wasn't really I mean, for where we had been, it was super advanced, but
Yeah.
not super not super advanced. But that's kind of where the whole internet reality show thing with Freddie and Nora, which was Tyra Banks's character, the body cameras and stuff like that. You had just had, when did that's a good question. When did Blair Witch come out? Blair Witch Project, 1999. So that had already happened. And you know the whole thing about the Blair Witch Project, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't know the Blair Witch Project, this ties in with kind of what we're talking about with this era. The Blair Witch Project was actually, so when the Blair Witch Project came out, they marketed that, whoever came up with the marketing plan was genius for the Blair Witch Project, because they marketed that movie like it was like they really found this footage of these people being murdered and this weird paranormal crap happening out in the woods, and
Yeah,
people thought it was real
movie.
Yeah, like
That's
they
where the
thought it was
found footage
real.
movie
People
came out.
That's why, like, I remember I was probably in 7th grade the first time I watched that movie, and I remember my dad, like, listen, video rental stores were still a thing, so if that tells you how long we went to,
I didn't even have a Blockbusters. I had a movie rental store.
It wasn't a Blockbuster, it was something else. I don't remember what we even had. We lived in Kentucky at that point, but we went and we rented, and they had it there, and I was like, I've never seen this, but I hear about it. Is it good? It was kind of after I had already gotten into horror, and they were like, and he was like, you know, it was really scary the first time you see it, and then after you realize it's all fake, and after you watch it again, you're like, wow, this sucks. And I remember I watched the Blair Witch Project, and I was like,
the first time or the second time?
The first time. I didn't really like it, and it's been over a decade since I've seen the Blair Witch Project. It's been a long time, but I remember just kind of being like, what? Like it doesn't show anything. Like it leaves almost everything up to your imagination. You know, you hear things, but you don't actually see it. Literally all you see is this. That's all you see, people running through the woods and screaming. That's the movie. And then it just kind of ends. Indie Phantom even says, yeah, that flick was a phenomenon. It really was. That movie scared the crap holes out of people. Whatever crap holes are. But kind of going back to the resurrection thing, it was like that technology was a thing. I think resurrection was a way for them to do the closest thing to found footage without actually doing found footage. You know what I mean?
In other words, it got very meta.
It did. And this is one of this is probably, well,
it's probably like next to like Scream is probably one of the most meta films out there, I would say.
I think H2O might be a little bit more meta just because of all the references to Scream and to Psycho.
Yeah,
but this is a close second. I mean, they're on the same field. It was
just the fact that they were trying to like recreate or try to scare the teens by Busta Rhymes dressing up as Michael Myers.
Yeah,
trying to dress up as the serial killer. I was like,
And that was a whole play on the reality thing too, though. Like reality TV was another dude. Boy, the 2000s were a hell of a time. Like reality TV was starting to be a big thing too. You know what I mean? So I get kind of the plays on it. I think H2O was more of a meta film because of the references to horror and to movies, and like all of the references to Psycho and having Janet Leigh in the Psycho car and having all the references in the music for Scream and all that stuff. Like it was more meta in that. Resurrection is more meta for like pop culture and like what was going on in pop culture at the time, like having Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks in there and the whole internet thing and having the reality TV and the body cams and that stuff. So like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Like it was mainly like connecting like reality to this movie.
Right.
Yeah. It was like it was pretty much trying to collect like box office tickets or like tickets just because it had characters like Busta Rhyme and
Mhm.
Tyra Banks in it. Like that was just like a money cash right there. Not
Right.
saying that they're bad actors. I'm just saying like if you have someone as influential as them in a movie, in a horror movie of that, then yeah, it's gonna collect some sales.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
you're a guaranteed generating sales right there.
Right. But we're introduced to the college kids, and that you get that really weird scene where they're sitting there talking about Dangertainment, and Sarah's emailing. She's sitting there emailing Deckard, and that guy walks in, and he's like, "Don't do it. Don't go there. That house is haunted. He walks his halls. He slept there. He murdered her nude in the upstairs," and he's being all creepy, whatever, bro. And he grabbed like her panties are sitting there like hang drying, and he's like,
"Oh my god!"
Yeah,
when
he
probably
walks
the
up
most
and
like side character ever. Like he just came out of nowhere.
well,
I
he
feel
comes
like
out
I
of
feel like
nowhere, and
I feel
he's
like they were
weird.
like they were like doing that scene, and then this random kid popped up and started doing shit, and they were like,
Keep it.
I guess keep it in.
Well, he grabs her underwear, and he's like,
By the way, who the fuck keeps their underwear hanging next to the fucking door?
I don't know. He grabs her underwear, and he's sitting there, and he's like, he walked its halls. Ma! Ma! And Katie Sackhoff goes and pushes him out the door. I'm like, what kind of college do you go to? Like,
Right?
what is this? Very strange. I know. Thank you guys for moving in the chat, man. That's freaking awesome. Love it. J-Dad, we're gonna catch up real quick. J-Dad says, okay, it would be Rob Zombie's H2, but for the first 20 minutes, hospital scene is so freaking awesome. If that wasn't in it, I'd erase Rob Zombie's H2. So we gotta erase Resurrection. There we go. J-Dad's with me. Sorry, Oct. Love you, buddy. The Oct says the main character chick in Resurrection actually didn't have a good scream in reality. So if all of her screams in the movie were dubbed, yeah, I now that you say that, that's true.
That's fucking hilarious because her scream is the reason why she got chosen.
That is true. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid, dude.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, that makes sense now that you say that. Let's see. J-Dad, my positives for Resurrection are soundtrack's awesome. Myers mask looks good. The idea of an overnight live stream in the Myers house was a cool concept. Some good kills. That's about it. The Oct says, by the way, I sent my link to my fan film twice in the chat. So if you guys can't see it, I'll send it on social media later. Yeah, it's not even like popping up. Like it's not in here. So so you'll have to let us. You'll have to send it to us on Instagram. Indie Phantom says Cannibal Holocaust is even more meta, and I think that was a big influence. I know Wes Craven's New Nightmare is also super meta and really good. I've never seen Cannibal Holocaust, but I know that's one of those movies that's like banned. It's pretty hardcore. So like I actually have where is it? I have this book. I got this book when I was a kid. 101 horror movies you must see before you die, and Cannibal Holocaust is in here. I forget where. Let me find it. Let me find what page it's on. I think. Let's see. Hold on. Give me a second here. I'm gonna find it.
Oh my god!
What?
What kind of fucking movie is this?
Cannibal Holocaust?
Yeah.
265, dude. I've never seen it. I don't really know that much about it, but I know it's talked about as like one of the craziest, just one of the craziest movies ever made.
It looks like like something Inferno. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Green Inferno, dude. I can't do the Green Inferno.
Yeah,
there's something about it. I can't do it. I can't.
There's something about like native cannibals that like really just like go Hannibal on you.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. And I think it's Italian horror too, which is Italian horror is hardcore, dude. Yeah, it's Italian. 1980 came out in 1980. Like, look at that, bro. Not safe for work, by the way.
Jesus,
yeah,
dude.
I don't know if I could do that. I can't do Green Inferno. There's something about it. I've tried.
It's a sense of like you like I know movies kind of give you like a sense of like what's it called, unease, because you can't get out, like no escape. I know some slashers try to do that, but bro, Green Inferno really just makes you feel helpless.
It
Like
just
there's nothing you can do.
it makes me I don't know. It makes me just I don't know. It makes me cringe inside. I can't do it. J Dead says Cannibal Holocaust is crazy. It's a hard one to stomach for me. Yeah. Well, I think they actually like all the animals that died, they were actually like killing animals and killing pigs and dogs and whatever else like on screen. Like that's too like I can't do that. That's too much. We're getting too crazy. Indie Phantom, Cannibal Holocaust is on Shudder, not banned. Yeah, I don't mean banned as in like I shouldn't have said banned. That was the wrong terminology. Like kind of one of those taboo things. Like people don't really talk about it all that much. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's almost too far over, you know. I don't know. I can't do stuff like that. It's too far. I'm the same way with Hostel. I can't do Hostel. I can't. There's something about it where it's like we're not it's just
We're not even trying to be
torture.
scary anymore.
It's just torture porn. Like it's
Yeah.
just I can't do stuff like that. I don't know what it is. And I love horror, man. I adore horror films, but there's a cutoff point where I'm like, okay, we're kind of crossing a line. We're getting a little far. To lighten things up, J-Did keeps his underwear hanging on his rear view. You go to get ready for work and you walk out just butt naked. You're like, here we go. Like when you get in your car to leave. So yeah, we're introduced to the college kids. We're introduced to what Dangertainment is with the whole reality thing and what they're doing. Basically, they have to spend the night in Michael's house with body cams, and you know, obviously, they have some surprises set up. Like we know, Freddy is gonna go dress up as Michael, and that's when we get the whole "I'm Michael Myers" scene. You know, which we're gonna get to that in a minute. That makes me so angry. And of course, so we're introduced to the house, and I gotta say, I like the fact that the Myers house actually looks like the Myers house. I mean, it's not identical, but it like I believe that is the Myers house more than I believe Halloween 5 or Halloween 6 is the Myers house. Halloween 5 especially. Halloween 5 it became, I guess it decided to change and it became like a mansion at some point in Halloween 5. It was weird. But you know, that's like you said about the Scream thing. Like here, part of my issue with the characters is that like they're just the characters are so worthless to me. Like there's just
There's really no
nothing
sense
good.
of like connection towards them.
Yeah, like I don't feel anything. Like I kind of accept that they're there to die. Sarah is really even Katie Sackhoff's character. Like she's kind of annoying. Some of the dialogue and some of the way she is. Like when they're in the house and they're kind of starting to like, you know, build relationships and interact and stuff. And, you know, the guy's just real into her and she's like, or she goes to lift up her shirt and she's like slowly lifting up her shirt and then she puts it like, it's just the way they are. It's just like, it's very like, I'm a 20-year-old and I like to party. I'm in college. Like they're just worthless characters.
Very American Pie-ish, pretty much. Pretty much feel like the American Pie cast into like a horror slasher, pretty much.
Yeah, they have no worth to me. They have no depth to their character. I mean, Sarah is the one that you could say, I guess, is even Deckard, who is the guy at the party who's helping her, like who's sending her beeper, who's on her beeper, and he's like, he's coming up the stairs, he's outside, he's in, you know, he's wherever. So that's kind of odd too. Let's talk about the Myers house a little bit because let me ask you guys a question. I know my thoughts. Do you like the idea that he's just living there, like he's got a bed and he's eating the rats? And
no, I hate it.
I don't know. It's too much. Like we don't need to see that. I mean, that's fine, I guess. I mean, he's got to eat something. He's still a human. He's got to sleep at some point. But like, I just think it's odd that I think it's odd it shows
like
half-eaten rats.
Like you're showing a part of Michael that doesn't really need to be shown.
Amen. That is perfect. Like we don't need to see his bed and his sheets and where he sleeps and where he craps. Like we don't need to see that. Like I don't want to see that.
You're kind of humanizing something that doesn't need to be humanized, pretty much.
Exactly. I don't want to see rats with bites taken out of them and like no, man, we don't need to see that. Like that's gross. like it's even besides the fact it's gross, it's just too much. It humanizes him too much, you know.
At that point, you might as well have shown his face, because you showed him everything else. Like that's all that was left, was just seeing his face. That was it.
Yeah. You know what really always bothered me, and it really took me until this last time to be like, well, they probably set that up. Freddy and the Dangertainment people probably set it up. When I used to watch Resurrection, when they're going through the kitchen and she opens the cabinet and she finds like fresh spices from from Walmart in there, and she sees like fresh spices and she's like, somebody's been living here, or whatever. And I'm like, you mean you tell me he's putting some rosemary and thyme on his rats? Like he's gonna salt and pepper them. He's got to put some seasoning, some garlic powder, some pepper. Like really? But it kind of took me a second, and like I guess you could kind of almost write that off as like, well, they were trying, like Freddie and Tyra Banks and those people, they were trying to leave little hints of like stuff like that they would find on purpose to be like, well, he's still living here, he's still, whatever, just to make it scary, even though they didn't know that Michael was actually still living there. So I don't know, like it just, yeah, J-Dead said it perfectly. He said, nope, we should never know where Myers is living. He should be like a spirit that just shows up around Halloween then vanishes after. Perfectly said. Yeah. That's exactly, he's an enigma. He's as Dave McCrae says, he is a person, he's a person, but it's almost like he's a force. He's not a, he's not a slasher. He's not a serial killer. He's just a force of nature, and that's kind of where he should live. So I don't know.
He should live in the darkest corners of your mind.
Yeah, and I also didn't like about the house where we kept finding little things like the I really didn't.
Well, like all those little things that you would find were things that Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks like planted
there. Yeah,
like they planted them. Like that was supposed to be the whole get up.
Well,
and that was fine. Because it didn't really bother me all that much, because it was like, ooh, okay, maybe, but then like it was the actual like showcase of like where he actually lives is what really threw me off. Like I was more bothered by that than all the other little trinkets and clues that they found.
Yeah, I mean that bothered me, but even like some of the, like when they open the pantry and like the baby tray comes out, I forget what forgive me. They said
the baby seat.
And it's got like chains and shackles, and like they find shackles in the basement and stuff, and it's just like, did they really plant that there, or are they implying that he was crazy and his parents used to shackle him up in the basement or strap him down to a chair? Like there's a little like the little like two of you on each shoulder, like the good side of me, the little angel side of me is like, nope, that Freddie and them planted that there, it's not real. But then there's another part of me that's like, are they really trying to imply that he was a weird kid? Because like, I mean, obviously abused? in the or like he was abused, like in the 2018 timeline in Halloween Kills, like they even got the little things like, he used to pull the wings off of butterflies, and like, when they say he was a weird kid and he was strange, but like it's scarier though. Like the whole thing is scarier because he was a normal kid until that night when he killed Judith. Like, there was nothing weird about him until then.
I don't know what it is.
So if they're really,
what it is about trying to like make him seem like a troubled kid back then, because you almost didn't sympathize with him, which is why Rob Zombie's Michael Myers, you almost kind of sympathize with Michael, and that's not really what you want. It's much more scary to have like some kid that seemed fine, did not raise any concern, and then all of a sudden snap, kind of like Hawkins' partner. It's like just one day, yeah, he was a little weird, but he was just a normal kid. But then one Halloween, snap, and guess what, he killed his sister. Like that's pretty freaky. And has absolutely zero emotion. Like he just flipped like a switch. Like that alone is scarier enough than saying a cult did it, or he was abused, or he just, I don't know. Like those two things that they try to like steer or try to like jam into our fucking minds was like unnecessary. It's much more scary to know that he just snapped like that. Like you can't really, like, who do you trust then after that? If some normal kid is all of a sudden snapped like a fucking twig and became crazy, like, then who do you trust?
Exactly. I completely agree. J-Dead has a really good theory, actually. He says Myers spends his summers in Aruba sipping on Mai Tais and scuba diving.
What the fuck?
Could you imagine him sitting on a beach like, sir, would you like another Mai Tai? A pina colada? Just looks back towards the ocean. He's just sitting there silent.
Yeah.
He says, by the way, if you ever want to see the most meta horror movie ever, check out Primer. It's in my top 10 ever. You'll have to watch it more than a few times to get it all. Yeah, I've heard of Primer, never seen it. Have you ever seen Primer?
I've never seen Primer. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it. Yeah, read me the synopsis once you get it. Yeah, let's get the synopsis real quick, and then Oct,
intellectual engineers Aaron and Abe build and sell error-checking technology to help with their friends Robert and Philip. But when Aaron and Abe accidentally invent what they think is a time machine, Abe builds a version capable of transporting a human and puts the device to the test. As two friends obsess over their creation, they discover the dark consequences of their actions.
Okay.
I looked up Primer image, but it gave me a bunch of primer.
It's like Home Depot paint primer.
Yeah. Oh shit! I know what this. I kind of know what this is.
We'll have to check that one out.
Seen like snippets of it.
Show me a picture.
Bro, I can't. It's gonna be kind of hard.
Show me something. Yeah, I can't see dick.
Yeah,
it's all right. We'll watch it. We'll check it out. All right. Oct says that he has the ultimate defense for the scene where Freddy, dressed as Michael, comes face to face with Michael, also dressed as Michael. He says a lot of people hate the scene where Freddy trash talks Michael and Michael just walks away. I'm included in that. I rationalize it by thinking maybe what was going through Michael's head was something like, you know, I could kill this wannabe right now, or I can let him keep pretending to be me and let him help me scare the shit out of these suckers. I could see that. He's also says I could just see it as a part of his playful nature not to kill Freddy in that moment. I completely
see the playful moment. I agree. Because Michael is already like a kid.
Right. I just think it's strange for if he's stalking somebody. It
takes you out of the situation.
If he's stalking from, you could argue, well, he had plenty of options or opportunities to kill Loree and Annie in the original movie, and he didn't. And what I say to you, sir, what I say is he was stalking them from a distance. Like there was distance between them. He would have had to, go up to them in broad daylight or something to get to them to do that. I think it's strange that Freddy's like, yo, what are you doing here? I'm Michael Myers. And he's like literally they're like face to face with each other. And he just like zero reaction. Just, he's like, okay. And turns around and leaves. That's who did Freddy think it was under there? You know what I mean? Who
cameraman that got killed.
Oh, that's true. Bill?
Yeah.
Was that his name? Bill?
Yeah.
Let me check the cast list. Was that Bill? Bill! Yeah, it was Bill. Yeah, Bill's death was pretty good. The way you see it on the camera, and Tyra Banks is too busy listening to In Sync and
yeah,
and she's going whatever in the in the trailer. Yeah, but Oct, I see what you're saying though, man, dude. Oct, I gotta hand it to you, buddy. You're putting up a fight for Resurrection, and I'm super proud of that. I like that. There's some fight in you. I like that.
Oh my god.
Then you're gonna love me.
Oh my god. That's pretty good. I wasn't even looking at you, man. And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, lots of good talk in this one. So here we forgot to talk about the scene where the couple, I forget what their names are. Let me check the plot again. I have the cast list pulled up here. Donna and Jim. Donna and Jim, when they're about to get laid in the basement, and he the wall caves in and the skulls and stuff fall out, and she's screaming. They're on camera. Freddy and Tyra Banks are laughing, and it's a whole big whatever. And he lifts up the arm, and he goes, "Made in Taiwan." He's like, man, they're setting this whole thing up, and they leave or whatever. And that's when we find Michael's whole lair and his hidden, which, first of all, bro, this is in a small town in Illinois. Why is it New York City, Chicago, sewer system underneath of his house?
Yeah, you're right, though.
Why? I mean, good Lord, the sewer's the width of this room. Why is that under his house?
I don't know, man.
with
Their water
gates
bill is
and all.
probably
Like it
fucking
just,
huge.
I don't know. Was Michael at Home Depot like building or like soldering, those iron gates to put in his under his house and stuff? Like why?
Yeah.
It's a very strange. I don't know. It's very strange. But read that comment.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Jay says Tyra Banks' booty was the only legit killer at Resurrection. Just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong, son.
That deserves a. That was pretty good, man. That was good. So kind of the meat and potatoes of it, though. We do get kills in there, and they're good. I mean, they're pretty decent kills. Like the guy getting stuffed up in the attic. We get a Lonnie Lamb. I forget. We don't see Tyra Banks die, do we? We just find her. We just find her at the end of it.
That's probably
honestly
in the contract. She's not allowed to like be killed.
She doesn't really have like a super massive role in Resurrection. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Other than her death, like that's kind of she doesn't have a huge role. There's like the
Busta Rhymes haven't even. I don't even think she knew that Tyra Banks was dead.
No, they didn't know. The turning point of this movie is when Deckard is at the party, and it's funny because Deckard's sitting there in that room and he's on the computer and he's beeping. He's typing.
How it fucking just gradually gets a bigger and bigger crowd. I fucking hated that.
But do you realize though, everybody's in there, like they bust through the doors and they're making out and they're like about to do it in the room, and they're like, oh sorry, and there's somebody in there and they're like, what are you watching?
Yeah,
he's like watching Dangertainment, and he's sitting there and then it's another couple comes that like busts in, and then they're like, "What are you watching?" And eventually, it's like there's 40 people sitting in the room watching it with him. It's strange. What?
No, I was just gonna say, like that whole scene where they just like completely just start like every single scene to get back to that crew, it slowly got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, bro, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? Yeah. So I just thought, and then like. I don't know. It was like that was like the one thing that really kept drawing me out of the movie, which I get. Yeah, the whole internet thing, blah 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 blah. But like, bro, it made more sense just to keep the whole scene like in the fucking it would have made much more sense to have the Luck of the Irish Ryan Merriman just in his room just texting, kind of like the Paul Rudd, like like just like typing like, bro, like get away, blah 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 or something like that. But yeah, we
got to get
me out of it.
Like we said, we got to get that late 90s, early 2000s beeper and email going though, or else it's not real.
Right?
Yeah, the Ox says the best friend, Katie Sackhoff's decapitation when her head rolls down the stairs. That was good. That was a good kill too. Yeah. But like the turning point is when they see Jim die. Is it Jim or is it Donna? Which one dies when she's down there in his like lair thing?
Donna.
Is it Donna? Yeah. I guess you're right.
She gets stabbed by the pole, by like the barb.
Everybody at the party's like, yeah, and they're like laughing or whatever. And Deckard's like, no, that was real, guys. He's there. That was real. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like we get it. It was real. And it's funny because everybody's like, that was awesome, good special effects. And then the next time we see them, everybody's like, dude, get him out of there. Tell him, get him. Like what happened in like that 20 minutes that you got?
I think it was a decapitation.
There's yeah, that's true. It was that decapitation. That's true. J-Dad says that dude's internet connection was way too good for back then, right?
Bro, right?
He was on. Early
if someone in that party needed to make a phone call, that stream was done.
They were on that landline,
huh?
They were on that landline.
They definitely were on that landline. So that's why I was like, bro, this movie, like, I don't know. Like, I don't like this guy had better internet than I do right now, as you can see with us glitching and whatnot. Like, bro.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because that's when like they're trying to leave. They actually try to leave the show, but they can't. And that's when they realize that like the other two dies, the music major dude dies, they all die, and he chases Sarah upstairs. That's where Deckard is kind of helping her, and they're kind of playing this cat and mouse game between Sarah and Michael, where she's going outside. And he actually, how does he end up hanging from the balcony? I forget.
Who?
It's escaping me. Michael, when he's hanging, because Deckard actually says he's gone.
Oh, I
Is it
think
Freddy? Because Freddy comes. Guys, help me out. I'm completely drawing a blank here. Like, when does Freddy?
I think Freddy kicks him out the window.
Yeah, you're right. Because Freddy shows back up and kicks him, and that's when you think Freddy's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think Freddy's dead. Yeah, you're right. The Ox says Freddy kicks him out the window. That's right. Now it's coming back to me. Thanks. I don't know why I was completely drawing a blank with that. But we think Freddy's gone, and that's when Deckard says he's still alive. She gets her beeper message that says he's still alive, and they get out to the garage, they go down. She goes down in the
In the
tunnel.
sewer?
She's in like the
Yeah.
sewers or the tunnel or whatever that is, the big Home Depot tunnel, and she gets out to the garage. That's when she finds Tyra Banks dead. I don't know why this all kind of is a blur to me. This like last
It's
act,
a fever dream, guys.
it really is. But when he attacks her, you know what the funny thing is? It kills me because Michael's in there and she starts the chainsaw, but her dialogue, she says something. She's like, "This is for Jen and me and Bill and Katie Sackhoff and Tyra Banks and Jamie Lee Curtis." It's like, bro, what are you doing? Just
Sally had a better
kill
monologue
him.
than that.
I know, but like she just takes the time and she keeps doing this, and it's like the same thing. It's like what we talked about earlier with Loree. It's like, just stab him.
Yeah.
Why do you need to like tell him everything he's done wrong? You know what I mean? Like just kill him. Like don't sit here and talk to him. Talk him to death.
Pride is
like,
a dangerous thing, my guys.
I don't know, but she barely graces. Like he doesn't even act like it hurts. Like she's just like, like with the blade on his chest or whatever. And you know she ends up trapped underneath of the thing with the gasoline is spilling. She's trapped under the thing, and that's when Miguel's favorite moment comes. When good old Freddy, the fire has started, and he kicks open the door, and we get trick or treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker. Yep, my favorite. You might as well start playing Mortal Kombat like dun 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 because you have fire around and everything.
Well,
Bro,
it's that picture from the thumbnail. That's the exact moment where Michael, like, he's sitting there, he's about to stab her, and Freddy kicks open the door and goes, trick or treat, mother. And Michael looks over and he's like,
yeah. And as soon as
look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. He's going, oh shit.
Oh shit. Yeah. But like as soon as Freddy said like trick or treat, motherfucker, like I shit you not, you could just put like a start of like everybody's health bar going up. It's like, bro, this is the start of a fight.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Yeah.
You know.
It was
well,
fucking
it's
great.
funny because like we didn't even talk about that. Like when Freddy's in his room watching like the old like 70s and 80s like Jackie Chan like kung fu videos, and he's like, whoa! And he's trying to be all like, you know, kung fu and whatever, because he grabs the shovel, he hits Michael and breaks the shovel over his like shoulder, and Michael stumbles back and like stands back up, and he's like when he's spinning the like the handle of the shovel, and he's like,
yeah,
and he hits Michael a few times, and Michael just goes, and Michael's like bringing it down, and Freddy's going, no, and Michael pushes him like. Same thing as in like if like Freddy versus Jason. Jason must be like the Hulk, because Jason like hits somebody and they go flying like 40 feet away. Like at the end, there's one point where Freddy sticks Jason in the shoulder with the glove, and Jason uppercuts Freddy. Bro, Freddy flies like to Colorado and back. Like it's like, bro, how strong is he? He only like uppercutted his belly, and bro goes flying like 60 feet.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing. Michael Michael backhands Freddy, and he flies up against the wall and like back down. You know what I mean? And it's just like, bro, what was that? You know, it's like, how did he hit him that hard? But you know, he turns back to Sarah and he starts walking towards her to kill her. But that's when Freddy takes the electrical, like all the hanging wires and stuff, which I'm shocked. Well, I guess, does the Myers house still have electricity?
They should. Well, I mean, they're
Why?
in the
Who's paying that bill, Michael?
Well, no, they're in the what's it called?
I mean, they're in the garage, so well, they probably have a
Yeah, so
generator.
they have a
They have the
generator for
generator
like
for
all of that stuff.
the
Yeah.
dangertainment stuff. Yeah, that's true. But like when he stabs him and he goes and he's getting like he's getting electrocuted or whatever. I feel like they told Busta Rhymes that he had to throw in MFer like anywhere he could, because like even at the end, like we get the trick or treat. We get the trick or treat, motherfucker, and then he does his whole like he looks at him and he goes, "Burn, motherfucker," and then he carries Sarah out, and even when I don't know, even when I'm trying to think, what does he say? Oh, it's probably my favorite line in the whole movie.
The monologue that he has at the end.
No. Well, when Sarah, they bring out the body bag, it's burned, like it's over, it's done, and Sarah goes, "I want to see his face, I want to see him." And the paramedic goes, "I'm going to warn you, ma'am, it's not pretty." And he unzips the body bag, and Michael and Freddie walks over and he puts his arm around her. Yeah, Ox said it. He goes, "Chicken fried,
motherfucker."
And it's like, what? Like, where did that come from? It just it's hysterical, man.
That is a lyrical
so
genius
funny.
right there. No.
Oh man, chicken fried.
But then like that monologue that I see, like that whenever the news station was trying to interview everyone, and
well,
I forgot how it goes, but it was just so fucking cheesy. I was like, bro, where are we going with this?
It's pretty simple with her because she's like, all she says, like all she needs to say is, "Thank you, Deckard. You saved my life." And like everybody's at the party's like, "Yeah," and they're like patting Deckard on the back or whatever, and he's like, "I have a girlfriend now." And
yeah, you're right.
And he's all hype or whatever. Which, by the way, Deckard looked way younger than her. Let's be real.
I know.
I feel like she was a college student. He's still like a junior or something like that.
In high school. High school.
Yeah. Like he looked younger than her. But she says, "Thank you, Deckard," or whatever. And Freddie starts like the cameras show up or whatever, and Freddie's like, and he puts his arm around her or whatever, and he's like, "Come on, Sarah, let's go." And they're like, "Well, we can go live right now. We're gonna go live." And the cameras like start talking. And they're like, "Sarah, do you wish to make a statement or whatever?" And they're talking.
Freddie
or
made
whatever,
some
and,
like weird monologue or some shit like that.
He says something about it. He says like, Michael Myers ain't no reality TV. Like he's had some big epiphany. You know what I mean? He's he ain't no reality TV. He's a killer. He's a killer great white shark, man, who's ready to kill everything that gets in his way. He's a killer shark or whatever. And the camera guy goes, "Well, do you wish to make a statement?" As if he didn't just make a statement. And he goes, "Yeah, statement this." And he like pushes the camera out of the way or whatever. Yeah, he goes, "Feel this." And he pushes the camera out. He just pushes the camera out of the way.
Yeah,
I don't know. J-Dead says, "After all that, I guarantee Deckard didn't get none of that booty."
Because they've never seen each other. I think it was like one of those like online. It was like one of those online things.
All they've talked about was email or was email. Yeah.
So
you know what I mean. So I don't know. Let's see. I saw something else I wanted to pop up there. J-Dead, do we all agree Freddy is the worst character in Halloween franchise history? If no, then who you got?
I would say the cops.
No, you know what?
6.
The worst is
it Halloween 6 or Halloween the one with
it's Halloween 5. The when they're like every time they're on screen.
Yeah.
Oh woo! When they're on screen. I'll tell you what, William Forsythe, which he did a great job with it, but like if you're talking about like a garbage character though, William Forsythe in Rob Zombie's the dad, like the stepdad, just the stuff he says, I'm like, you're disgusting. Like that's your daughter-in-law, and like Judith walks in the kitchen, and he's like, "Oh, she got a good pooper on her." And just like, what? Like, bro, what did he just say? And some of the stuff he says to you really kill all those animals, boy? Would you take that damn thing? Like, just the way he is. He's a pretty garbage character too. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that. I don't know if I would say that Busta's the worst. I'll say again, there's another positive. I don't think Busta's the worst character. Some of those characters are pretty bad too. Like I'll tell you who else. Speaking of H5, I see you guys talking about like J-Dad mentioned H5. You know who really annoys me is the boyfriend. What's her name's boyfriend in Halloween 5? The guy, remember when the two cops are sitting at the party?
The greaser?
Not the greaser guy, not the guy with the car who's like obsessive about like the wax on his car. When Michael takes the spigot and he's
yeah.
No, but his friend, the guy who worked at the alcohol or the alcohol store, the liquor store, and stole the beer for him or whatever. And he dresses up as Michael and he's like,
yeah.
And he runs after them. Bro, he annoys the crap out of me in that movie. He annoys the crap out of me.
He deserved the pitchfork.
I don't know. He was weird. He was strange. The Oxa, Tina's a good one too. Yeah, a lot of people hate Tina. Well, I didn't hate Tina in 4, but in 5, she's very like. Listen, they can't find Rachel because Rachel was dead, and Jamie is very obviously distraught. Jamie hasn't said a word to anybody in a year, and she finally just spoke for the first time and said your name. She is bawling. She's having like a meltdown because she's begging you to stay with her while they're looking for this murderer. And she's like, when you're older, you understand. You just have to be with people your age at a party. I have to go by. And I'm like, you suck, lady. Like, this little girl is begging you to stay by her side. And you're just like, I gotta go. Bye. Come on, you suck. Don't do that to her. You're a terrible aunt, terrible friend. I hate Loomis for Rob Zombie's H2 more than Busta. Yeah. But that
Loomis
wasn't
isn't the best.
That wasn't. I don't think that was Malcolm McDowell's fault. That was hashtag not my Loomis. That wasn't Malcolm McDowell's fault though. That was bad writing on Rob Zombie's part. Like Loomis was a tender. He cared about Michael. He cared about Loree. He cared about the situation. Like he obviously had guilt for what was happening. Like that didn't
come out to like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Well, he was a good Loomis though in H1.
Mm-hmm.
But in H2, like when he looks at the assistant and she's like, "Do you want hot tea or something?" And he's like, "If I want your opinion, I'll slap it out of you," and all that stuff. And it's like, where did this come from? And then, like you said, the last 15 minutes when he sees it on the news that like the SWAT team and whoever else has Michael and Loree cornered in the shack, when he's drinking his bottle, drinking his red wine, and all of a sudden he's like, "I'm a good guy again. I'm the hero." It's like, what? Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Jaded says, okay, quick question. My favorite secondary character in the franchise. Mine's the preacher that picks Loomis up in H4. Secondary favorite. He's a good one.
Yeah.
Mr. Sayer. What is it? What are you hunting, Mr. Sayer? Apocalypse, end of the world.
The new sheriff in Halloween 2.
What do you mean the new sheriff?
The new sheriff, like after what's his name?
Do you mean Meeker?
Meeker, yes.
Meeker doesn't come until 4 though.
Is it?
Yeah, Meeker doesn't come until 4. No, the guy after they
Meeker
find
was
Annie,
one of my favorites. Yeah,
because remember brackets in Halloween 2 and up until like the middle, up until the Ben Tramer thing.
Yeah.
When he says, they found Annie, like Annie was one of the kids that they found dead, and Brackett's like, what? And he goes and they go to get in the car, whatever. And that's when we get old gray-haired fellow, what's his name? Young Gary Busey lookalike, when he's go home, Lee. And the real whiny cop that goes around with Loomis, could we do anything else for you? And Loomis is like, Michael Myers is still here, blah, 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 blah. And he's just he's like, okay, and that's when we get that guy. The Ox says, Miguel, your favorite secondary character is Ben Tramer.
No, that's number 1. Ben Tramer's number 1.
More so than Loree or Michael or Loomis?
Yeah, Ben Tramer, 100%.
Miguel's list is like Ben Tramer. It's like Ben Tramer, Loomis, Michael, Loree.
Yep.
That's Miguel's list. J-Dad says Meeker is awesome. The Ox says LL Cool J is up there.
That is true as well.
Yeah,
I like LL Cool J.
LL Cool J was good too, man. So we get to the ending of this thing. What do you think of how it ends? Like when we get that sudden, like she's in the hospital or whatever, and she's in not the hospital, the morgue, and she's looking at him, and all we get is, "Ah!" And he opens his eyes, and that's how it
that was
cuts to
just a
black.
contract coming to fruition, my guy.
Right, that was that
That was
little
literally
clause.
it.
He's got to stay
Yeah.
alive. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think what would have made Resurrection better, and I think here's kind of Oct. Tell me what you think of this. And guys, if you're watching after the fact, if you're watching right now, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. By the way, let me know if you think this is a better idea. I think what would have made a better ending, and what would have even tied into the resurrection thing, is if you would have made, so maybe you think Loree is, well, so you keep the beginning the same. Loree's in the asylum. She's, locked up or whatever. Michael goes to kill her. You think she's dead, and then you start getting little hints of Loree's alive. Loree's alive. She survived. She survived. And then instead of Busta Rhymes coming through at the end, maybe you get another final battle between Loree and Michael. And that's where Loree actually dies. You pull a Halloween Ends, which, well, what I hope happens in Halloween Ends, where Loree and Michael kill each other, or you think kill each other. And then if you want to do the whole eyes opening thing at the end, and that's Michael's resurrection. That's he's killed Loree. He's completed his mission. Now you do Halloween 9, you go with wherever you want. I think that would have saved them a little bit. You know what I mean? And you can still do this whole story. Like, you can still do this whole, you can still keep it literally exactly the same, but you just throw in little, you keep the beginning the same. Maybe you get little hints like, hey, maybe Loree survived. Maybe Loree survived. And
it's Loree stalking Michael, not the other way around.
Yeah. Not like Michael stalking all the Dangertainment people.
Yeah, but
like,
Michael gets sudden little hints that maybe I'm being stalked.
Well, not just like, I feel like you get little hints, and you finally, like, maybe there is a reveal that Loree is alive and she's going to go to the Myers house and kill Michael. And like, there is a final battle between Loree and Michael in his house. And you can even do it the same way, where he gets electrocuted and burned up, and maybe Loree dies in the fire too. And, Loree's dead, and then boom, he opens his eyes at the end, cuts to black. You could have done that. And like, that would have been more of a send-off for Loree. That would have played into the Halloween resurrection thing, because this is his resurrection. This is, maybe now you even go full on supernatural with him. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that would have been better. And maybe they couldn't have done something like that because Jamie Lee Curtis was done at that point, and she was basically just doing this as like a contractual obligation. Like, I mean, I don't know, but I like that idea a little bit better. I mean, I feel like, I think that, I think that could have been a much better way to execute this, but we got what we got. I mean, so, whatever, so be it. It is what it is, man. It's Halloween Resurrection. The Ox says he likes that idea. Little hints that maybe there's a third person dressed up as Michael in the house, and then the reveal at the end, it was Loree. Interesting. I don't mean that.
Like, she's the killer?
Could you imagine? It's like the Spider-Man meme. You get this going on. Like, could you imagine Freddy walks in as Michael? Michael walks in, and then there's a third Michael that walks in, and Freddy had been like, "What the hell is it?" He'd have been mad, But yeah. Not necessarily dressed as Michael. Just, I think you could have done like a really cool. It could have been cool if they would have kept Loree for the end, and like the real final battle between Michael and Loree is in her house. That could have been cool. But again, we got what we got. Do you want to do a rating for Resurrection?
Do you want to do a rating for Resurrection?
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, because Oct, you're gonna be proud of me, man. You're gonna be proud. My rating has gone up since we did this discussion.
Okay.
So in having this discussion, my rating has gone up.
Okay. What is it?
I was prepared to give this movie a 3.5. I'm not gonna lie. I really was. Which may be the lowest rating I've ever given a movie. But I think I'm going to go 5.5.
Damn.
Or no, 5. I'm going to go 5.
You can't drop half a point, but just, no, you got to stick with the 5.5. There you go.
I'm going to go 5. It's entertaining. It's got, the music is a lot better. Michael is pretty good. The cinematography is good. I think the story is garbage, though. I think there's certain things that I just did not like about it. But I see why people love it. I see why this has kind of become kind of a cult classic type deal in the franchise, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get to these last comments, Miguel, what's your rating?
I was gonna give it like a 4.6.
I gave it a higher rating than you did.
Yeah, it's not that great. The only thing that really saved
See,
it,
now
that
y'all got me.
4.6 was-
See, now I'm seeing it. The Ox says 5, very generous. My mission is complete. 4 out of 10. Dang it! Now y'all are making me second guess.
Look at that. We converted them, guys. That was a trap.
This
all along.
movie is like my kryptonite. Like I can't figure out like if I like it or like I don't like it. But you know what? 5. That's a 50%. It might be a. You know what? It's probably like a. It's
No, don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare. There's no change. There's no take backsies. Stick with it. Stick with it. No, guys, hold them to it. Hold them to that 5.5.
It's probably more like a 4. It's
No,
probably more
hold
like a
them to
4.
it, guys.
I thought you were.
God.
I thought you were about to say like a 6. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
4 stars. Final.
Nope. You can't
Nope.
final. There's no final.
4 stars.
Nope, you
4
can't.
stars.
Sorry,
4 stars.
5.0,
4
guys.
stars.
That's what he says.
Well, guys, this
he
has
went.
been
He went from a 5.5. Let him know that. Let it be that. Let it be known that.
No, I dropped it to a 5. 5 was my first official rating.
You said 5.5. Guys, let us know in the comments. What rating do you think he did? Because it's definitely a 5.5 for me that he said. There's no take backsies in this fucking place.
I know
were literally...
that. Oct, you just knocked it out of the park. It's a fun ride. If you take it too seriously, then that's what generates the disappointment.
Exactly.
Completely. Dang it. He also says no take backsies.
Let's fucking go.
Whatever, man. Whatever. It's a 4 out of 10 for me. But guys, that is the season 1 finale of Purely and Simply Evil. This has been a blast doing this. We have got a new intro coming. The new intro looks really good. Super psyched about it. New background. So this red background's going to go away. We're going to retire it and do something new. The trailer for season 2 of Purely and Simply Evil. Wow. I heard 5.5 on the record. This is, man. Wow. Let's delete the last 10 minutes. Let's delete my conversation the last 10 minutes. Brad, just a Busta for Busta.
Brad, just a Busta for Busta. Yeah, there you go.
Let's get these last comments
I love you
before
guys,
we
man.
go. J-Dead says Resurrection should have started with Myers getting killed, and then the rest of the movie is him coming back as full-blown supernatural. The Thorn storyline would be perfect for it. What do you think?
I would agree. It would have been a 5.5 for me if it was the case.
Miguel's score would have gone up. I don't know. I would have had to see how it came out. Like it would have had to, it would have. I would have had to see. Keith, buddy, how's it going? Keith, did you ever notice that Loree stares out the window in the asylum and the nurse says, "I don't know what she's looking at." Michael and Kill staring out the window. David Jordan Green takes from everything. Yeah, man, that's true. That's very true. Very, very true. Yeah. I could see that. As well. J-Dad, take care, guys. Much love to all and stay safe out there. Yeah, man. You guys stay safe too.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. You guys are our buddies. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. So the season 2 trailer, Monday night at 8 p.m. Season 2 trailer drops for Purely and Simply Evil. If you don't know, we are going to talk the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise next. We are going to save Halloween Kills for a Purely and Simply Evil episode, kind of revisit that. We're going to revisit Rob Zombie's films. We're going to visit Halloween 3, Halloween the 6th, the producer's cut. All of that closer to October. We're going to wait and make like all of October kind of theme because of Halloween ends, because of everything going on. So October will be fun. But next season, we don't have an actual start date for that, but we're going to check out Nightmare on Elm Street, take a deep dive, and we're going to get a couple more in there too. I think we're going to get Night of the Creeps was my other pick, and then Miguel's pick was Jeepers Creepers. So it'll be a fun season, man. Looking at having some special guests on. So new intro, new background. It's going to be a blast. So new trailer drops Monday, and we will drop the opening credits at some point before that new season starts. We don't have a date yet, but thank you guys for hanging out with us as usual. Thanks for supporting this channel. And we will see you probably Tuesday night. I don't know what show we're doing Tuesday night. I'm not sure what we're talking, but we'll talk something Tuesday night, and we'll see you there. So new episodes of our shows premiere every single Tuesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Talk the Movies. thank you guys so much for hanging with us. And we will talk to you all soon, guys. See you.
See ya.